Good morning. How are we doing this morning? Monday morning. Welcome to Success in Trading. So, how was the weekend? How's the month going so far? It's another very chilly morning, but hey, 7:30, and you can see light coming here. So it's spring. She is coming. Yay! I must admit, I can't wait. I'm battling this year for some reason. I am seriously battling with the dark mornings. Really weird. It doesn't normally bother me, but I'm battling this year. I can't wait for the light, the sunshine mornings. But that said, the 4 o'clock this morning, geez, could hear the birds. Wow, that's always really lovely. Anyway, let's get on with business, shall we? So welcome to Success in Trading Live every Monday morning. We cover different topics related to, success in trading. My name is Judy V, and I'm co-founder of Tribe of Traders and author of the book Truth About Trading, which is currently being re-edited and will be available again very soon. So what I want to actually talk about today is a real issue. I tell you, it is it's not just an issue in life, in trading, but it's also an issue in life, okay? And it makes massive difference when you get this. It makes a massive difference. Hi, Lucia. Good morning. How are you? It makes a massive difference. So separate behavior from yourself, because sometimes, many times, we label ourselves. Okay, so because we have a particular trait, we label ourselves that. Okay, so we might say you might be impulsive or spontaneous or something like that. That's when you label yourself. Well, and if you if you feel that or label yourself spontaneous, or if you label yourself, I don't know what, not clever, or whatever it is, then you start defining yourself by that. Okay, so like if you're labeling yourself spontaneous, right? Okay, and that's all grand, that's fine. It's not good, it's not bad. But then you might start saying that you're not good at trading because you're spontaneous, because you're jumping in spontaneously onto trading. Or if you say you're not very clever, you're not a very clever person, or whatever it is, that might be related to a particular thing. It might be related to a particular part of life. Okay, because I can tell you without a doubt that I am brutal. Oh my God, I am brutal with mental arithmetic. Ah, God, I could hardly even add 1 and 1. Okay, I'm so bad at mental arithmetic, and for a long time that defined me. I felt that I'm bad at maths. Now, how on earth did I make that jump? How did I make the jump from battling with mental arithmetic to being bad at maths? And then thinking, well, if I'm bad at maths, I can't be good with money. I can't be good with investment. I can't trust my judgment. What? I mean, seriously? I mean, I'm just bad at, I'm not bad, I'm brutal at mental arithmetic. It's not my strong point. But guess what? So what? That's why we have cell phones. I mean, seriously. I mean, so many people, they label themselves as that, whatever it is. And only when you peel it back, and you start seeing, well, what is it particularly that relates to, and you start understanding that it has got nothing to do with you as a person. It doesn't identify you. And so often we bring that into the trading, because when you think about it, if I'm bad at maths, and therefore I'm bad with money, therefore I'm bad with investing, and therefore I'm bad at business, how on earth can I be good at trading? And you might think that's crazy, but trust me, I went through all this, and I know that when you think about things that you label yourself with, you will relate to that as well. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm bad at mental arithmetic. I'm not bad at maths. I'm bloody good with money, bloody good with sums, bloody good with maths, really good with maths, actually, because I can understand the logic behind maths, and I'm really good with maths. But geez, don't get me to do it in my head. Can't do it for love nor money. Now, I know why I can't do it in my head, and there's a very good reason for it. And that's to do with some instances that happened as a child, and being a late developer because I was deaf until I was 12 and so on. So I didn't learn to read or write till I was about 12, 13. But for so long, that defined me. And for so long, that was the reason why I wasn't getting the success I wanted to get, for example, or whatever. And we do it all the time. It's heartbreaking. Just because you have a weakness, or what you might perceive as a weakness, I mean, who says mental arithmetic, not being able to do mental arithmetic is a weakness? You know, just because you might have a weakness, whatever that is, it doesn't define you. One of my life philosophies is work to your strengths, not your weaknesses. Work to your strengths and be aware of your weaknesses and use your strengths powerfully. A lot of people say, focus on the weakness, strengthen your weakness, overcome your weakness. No, your weaknesses are there because they're not high in your values. They don't define you. They're not you. Just because you've got a weakness when it comes to, for example, I know you might be impatient. You might label yourself impatient. Well, what are you impatient about? If you're going to label, if you're impatient about, if you're impatient working with people, for example, it doesn't mean you're impatient in all areas of your life, right? If you're spontaneous, and that's fine if you're spontaneous, but where are you spontaneous? Because the likelihood is that you're not spontaneous in all areas of life. Because if you're spontaneous, you'll find out that if you have spontaneous traits, you'll find that it's in a particular area of your life. It won't be all across your life, and that's appropriate. It's appropriate that be that way. It's appropriate that you are spontaneous in certain areas and not in others, because I guarantee you're not going to be spontaneous about putting your hand into a boiling pot of water, as an example. So therefore, it doesn't necessarily follow that you're going to be spontaneous when it comes to trading. You get what I mean? It's an important point. It's a very important concept to wrap your head around. That, because don't confuse your traits with an identity. Do not confuse your traits with an identity, okay? Just because you're spontaneous, or just because you are impatient, or just because you're not good with mental arithmetic, or just because you're not good with budgeting, for example. You will only not be good at things that are low in your values. But guess what? You'll be friggin' brilliant at things that are high in your values. So don't label yourself, don't identify yourself by your traits. You are the sum of all your traits. You're the sum of all your traits. That's so important. Awesome, Lisha, I'm glad you like that example. But it was a big breakthrough for me a long time ago, because I had such a lot of shame. And I had such a lot of shame around not being able to do mental arithmetic, and I would put myself into situations where I would avoid situations or avoid scenarios that this would show up, and it started impacting my life. And I started to identify myself by it. And when you start doing that, it grows. It gathers a life of its own, because I identify myself with that. Therefore, everything I'm doing, it's either to avoid that pain of being bad at mental arithmetic, or it's as a result of judging myself based on that. Therefore, I don't deserve. It's just, it's so insidious. And I really, really want you to take this week to look at where you are possibly defining yourself by your traits. Okay, if you define yourself by your good traits or your bad traits equally, that doesn't matter. A trait is a trait. We apply meaning to it. We apply judgment to it. Okay, forget about whether it's good or it's bad. It's a trait. Okay, and that trait will show up in areas that are high or low in your values. Your good traits will show up in high in your values, and you'll see your not so good traits will show up on areas that are low on your values. Okay, that's important. That's all that is. It doesn't define you as a human being. Therefore, it won't define you as a trader. Okay, in your trade plan, you would be very wise to be very clear about what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and make sure that your trading objectives work to your strengths and that you focus on your strengths in your trading. Be aware of your weaknesses by all means, but that's as much as that your weaknesses are warranted. You do not need to focus your energy on trying to overcome those weaknesses. That's an important point. That's very important. Accept them, love them, because they are part of what makes you unique, part of what makes you you. Okay, and the more you accept your weaknesses, work to your strengths, the more powerfully you'll step into the fullest expression of who you are. Okay, so I really would love you to do that this week. Okay, I want you to start identifying where you are labeling yourself based on your traits, and start understanding that your traits will show up based on your values. That's it. That is it. You are the sum of all of your traits. And according to Dr. John Demartini, my mentor, my life mentor, he has re-reckoned there are 4,600 known traits in humanity. Okay, and we possess every single one of them in one form or another, to one extent or another. And the extent of which we demonstrate them will be the extent of which they are in our hierarchy of values. Okay, just we are the sum of that, so don't identify yourself with one or two particular traits. Therefore, don't impact your trading on a narrow version of the complete person that you are, because you are a magnificent being with limitless potential. Why define yourself on 2 or 3 of the 4,600 traits you have? Okay, all right, guys, have a brilliant week. Have a great trading week, and I'll catch you in the trading community for a Q&A and a deeper dive into this on Friday, okay, at 7 a.m. UK time. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.